Hello and welcome to the GNSS-asia presentation on COVID-19 mitigation applications in Asia. My name's Alistair Schofield and I am the GNSS-asia industry support lead. If you have any questions about the topics presented today, please contact at Schofield@GNSS.asia. To begin with, this presentation was initially created for the Munich Satellite Navigation Summit, but we believe it would be beneficial to the wider public, so we're showing it online, free of charge for you to watch today. So not only did we present at the summit, we also ran the GNSS-asia Global Meetups. This is an online space-related networking event for European and Asian GNSS communities. We had over 200 space professionals booked in for the event, and they all had a chance to discuss one-on-one with experts from Asia and Europe in an informal setting. GNSS-asia is committed to fostering international cooperation in space, and it's used to tackling global challenges using satellite navigation and other space-related technologies. We operate in several Asian markets, and we are expanding to Australasia and Southeast Asia as well. The outbreak of COVID is certainly one of the major global challenges seen today, and I would now like to show you the team who are on screen at the moment. You can see we have the European team, including myself. Not only am I responsible for industry support, but I'm also responsible for market trends, which is why I'm presenting today. In addition, today you can see just some of the people we have in the team throughout the region. So let's begin by saying satellite navigation and position information has been critical in fighting COVID-19, specifically in Asian countries. GNSS has not been used on its own, it's been combined with other technologies, such as Bluetooth and big data, in order to enforce quarantines, help social distancing, provide analytics and further information, and to assist in providing medical and healthcare treatments. Today, what we'll do is we'll focus on downstream applications, their real-life applications, rather than going into technical details about how they all work. That was covered by other attendees at the summit. Firstly, let's begin. GNSS, specifically consumer solutions and LBS, have been used in geofencing, which are part of the quarantine monitoring and enforcement. Simply put, location information ensures that those in self-quarantine stay at home. This technology enables the setup of the virtual perimeter, also known as geofencing, which when someone travels beyond the perimeter, local authorities are notified of their movement. Most of the time, this information is gathered by applications and smartphones, but there were other devices used as well. This kind of application has been developed in India, Singapore, Taiwan, and South Korea. You can see some examples on the bottom left-hand side with the specific applications, and on the right-hand side, you can see a visual which demonstrates the concept of geofencing. This has not been used on their own, but they've also been combined with drones, which have been used to effectively enforce quarantine, often combined with thermal sensors and loudspeakers to make sure that people stay inside. So, as part of this, we'll have a deep dive into specific examples. The first example today is from South Korea. The Korean government made it mandatory to download the self-quarantine safety protection application. This was for those who were subject to a 14-day self-quarantine. Anyone, both locals and foreigners, who enters Korea first has to be tested, and then they're ordered to either stay at home or at a temporary facility. Now, a case officer is assigned to each person in quarantine, and the application connects those in quarantine to the case officers, allowing officers to check on them twice a day. In South Korea, this measure has been strictly imposed from the beginning. As an example of other devices being used, there was also an electronic wristband which was introduced for those who had previously violated the quarantine orders, or as seen in a few cases, people who were caught outside without their phones. But overall, despite these efforts, self-quarantine has been well observed. So even though there's been some media sensation, the use of the wristband has been limited, and the authorities today trace your location through GNSS signals with your prior consent through the previously mentioned smartphone application. So following the example from South Korea, we'll move on to another deep dive. The next deep dive is from India. On this slide, you can see a similar GNSS-enabled system has been introduced by a southern Indian local government called Quarantine Watch. On the slide today, you can see some screenshots from the application, including the downloads, how it works itself, and some of the example messages you can see. Location information through GNSS has been used extensively for quarantine enforcement. Whilst quarantine monitoring is one of the most intensive ways of using GNSS technologies, this has mostly been used as a follow-up measure. However, there are some other applications. For example, GNSS has been used to support precautionary social distancing measures and to help disseminate information. Location information through GNSS helps identify, map and tag congested places or places where COVID-positive patients had recently visited. Based on this information, authorities can warn people of what places to avoid at what time. Not only has GNSS itself been used, drones have also been used to monitor and patrol and to help enforce for social distancing. In addition to this, applications have been used to locate nearby health facilities and mass distributors. Multiple applications have come out across the region. You can see some examples in the bottom left, from Corona Map in Korea through to the pharmacy locator application in Taiwan. These all serve similar purposes and help as precautionary measures. As another deep dive, we are to consider South Korea. At the early phase of the pandemic, around March and February, face masks were not yet widely available. Both private developers and NAVER, a portal site, introduced a number of applications that update and tell users where masks are in stock. You can see on the screen today some examples of how the NAVER application has been working. For another use case, we'll have a deep dive into China, where the HaiGe Smart Epidemic Prevention Management Platform, a Beidou-based system, has been developed and operates. This operates with two new highly developed precision navigation chipsets, and the platform provides hybrid indoor and outdoor positioning data. The HaiGe platform provides hybrid indoor and outdoor positioning data at 100 Hz refresh rate to identify the location history of infected patients. Furthermore, comparing the location information with previously collected data, the platform displays the real-time mapping of infection clusters and identifies potential hotspots using a trajectory analyzing algorithm. Releasing the movement history of patients and communicating what routes they may have taken at a certain time, the system can even advise you about how to commute and what path to take. Finally, GNSS has been used to assist medical services as part of a fight against COVID. This ranges from UAV use for large-scale disinfection through to the delivery of medicine to people in need whilst minimizing direct human contact. Some examples include the Chinese leading drone manufacturers who dispatch more than 100,000 disinfectant drones and the Wuhan mini neighborhood application. This has all been used to help in the fight, and it helps with everything from disinfecting through to positioning. Finally, GNSS can be utilized to assist in the provision of general medical services amid the COVID crisis. In China, with Beidou's high-precision position navigation and timing services, drones were deployed for aerial disinfection spraying. Drones were also used to deliver critical medical supplies in a contact-free way. On the other hand, the city of Wuhan, the epicenter of the coronavirus, a social app has been used to link residents and healthcare centers with minimal contact. To make sure all patients are effectively treated whilst minimizing the risk of cross-infection, the municipal government was promoting a Beidou-based social media application on WeChat called the Wuhan Mini Neighborhood application. To expand on this, we'll have a quick look at the Wuhan Mini Neighborhood application. This is where they use GNSS-based social apps for the treatment, and it links the residents with healthcare centers. If anyone feels any symptoms, residents were able to report. The application conducts a first diagnosis and detects the patient's location through GNSS positioning. If they are deemed infective, all necessary administrative and medical assistance followed. This could include diagnosis, transfer to medical facilities, disinfection, and much more. You can see on the screen today we have some screenshots from the Wuhan Mini Neighborhood application just to show you what it looks like from a user experience standpoint. It needs to be reminded that public policy plays an important role in unlocking the potential of this technology. The degree of monitoring and enforcement can wildly vary because of different policy frameworks, reflecting how the general public feel, rather than having intrusive technology-based solutions and measures. No doubt active use of GNSS and IT technologies can significantly reduce the pandemic, but each region has a different standards to how to balance safety and privacy. You can see on the screen at the moment some of the different uses or considerations that have to be considered when looking at public policies. Everything from data access to whether it's mandatory or optional, through to the adjustments of laws. So we can see that emergency laws may have been passed in some regions, or amendments to existing laws and access to data kind of been changed. Finally, there is complementary systems and strategies. The technology itself doesn't offer the perfect solution, but the overall framework allows for it to be integrated into contact tracing and teams on the ground, and it allows it to be included in various communication campaigns. As we've seen changes in COVID, we've seen changes in life. Without a doubt, there's been innovation, big and small, sprouting up all around us. Today I've been focused on the mitigation apps, but there are a range of other application and devices. We see more people utilizing apps to deliver food or necessities. We see fitness apps utilizing positional information, but of course there are some mounting privacy concerns. Governments around the world have started making an effort to curb big tech companies today. Each country is trying to figure out how to balance innovation and freedom. In South Korea, for example, its initial COVID response was praised for its effectiveness, but it was also criticized for its intrusiveness. However, measures are changing. Korea originally began by automatically tracking the movement of people in an anonymous measure. However, as of October 2020, new guidelines were released. The movement history is no longer shared unless absolutely necessary. Thus, some of the applications have actually stopped updating. So looking at some of the changes themselves, we can see there's been breakthroughs in technologies, innovation in healthcare systems, improvement in existing technologies as positive points. However, there's a big challenge. Lots of changes to customs, habits and laws. There's a big risk of stigmatization of COVID patients and their families. If we rely too much on technologies and send everyone alerts all the time, there's a chance of alert fatigue as seen in Korea. Although there are some mounting concerns in areas such as the potential to be excluded from society without smartphones. There's an arbitrary designation of health status that's linked to societal privileges. There's fears that this will limit civil freedoms, and there's obviously the risk of data breaches and the public disclosure of the personal information. So now I'll briefly summarize the main points of this presentation. So Asia was quick to launch COVID-19 mitigation applications with successful outcomes. GNSS has been critical in quarantine monitoring and social distancing. GNSS-enabled applications are enhanced when combined with other technologies, and the extent of which the apps are used depends on the local policy frameworks. COVID mitigation efforts have been brought in and continue to bring changes in your daily life. If you've got any questions today, please feel free to either get in touch with myself at GNSS.asia, or you can get in touch with our regional project managers or global coordinator with their information seen on the screen today. Please feel free to visit our website where we will update you on the latest and greatest. We run everything from news through to innovation monitoring. We'll release market trend reports, and most of all, we can help you connect to the relevant actors that you are interested in connecting with. If you've got a GNSS-based solution that you need promoting in Asia, or if you're looking for collaboration with Europe, please get in touch today.